Hello everyone, dear science lovers. What do you think about that we are part of the matter cycle in the natural? What if we are not? Today we will talk about the way of life of our little nature, our world, in a way, the matter cycles. Matter cycles are regular systems in the irregular universe of some natural substances in our environment that started from the formation of the Earth, and then underwent some changes with the involvement of living things. In a way, these cycles are also our life system because the basic substances for our vitality have these cycles. Therefore, the slightest change in them can affect many living things, including us, in very different ways. One of the most important matter cycles is the carbon cycle. Because carbon is the basis of almost all living things. Therefore, we actually have an organic life. At the beginning of this cycle, we come across plants. Because the first important job starts with plants taking carbon dioxide from the air for photosynthesis. The carbons taken as a result of photosynthesis are used in various tissues of plants. Later, while herbivorous animals feed on plants, they transfer this carbon to themselves. Carbon, which is now spread to animals, remains in these animal remains for many years after these mortars die. After this period, the carbon either stays in the residue and fossilizes, or it is used by bacteria and other microorganisms and released back into the atmosphere. Also, do not forget about breathing. Plants and animals, both in the sea and on land, release carbon dioxide into the atmosphere by respiration with oxygen. The human effect here is the carbon dioxide formed as a result of combustion, that is, oxidation, in various factory processes. Not interrupting this order is the most basic requirement for our organic life. Another important cycle is the nitrogen cycle. Because nitrogen is one of the important components of DNA and protein. This gas makes up 78% of the atmosphere. Among the reasons why it is so high is that living things cannot use it directly in gaseous form. In other words, we cannot breathe nitrogen and use it in gas form, just as we breathe oxygen and react it. It is usually some soil organisms that make nitrogen available to living things. In some rare volcanic events and events such as lightning, nitrogen becomes usable as ammonia. After these events, the first plants start to use nitrogen, which is generally available under the soil. So how? Some bacteria convert nitrogen into ammonia. It is then converted to nitrite by bacteria, and then to nitrate by nitrification. These nitrates are absorbed by plants and enter plant tissues in the production of various proteins. Afterward, it passes to herbivores and then to carnivores by feeding again. Nitrogen-based denitrifying bacteria, which decomposes back into the soil with defecation and animal remains, converts nitrite and nitrate back into nitrogen gas. Nitrogen gas enters the atmosphere again. And the loop is completed. Next comes the most well-known cycle, the water cycle. The water cycle is more of a physical cycle. First, the water that covers most of the Earth evaporates into the atmosphere. These vapors condense to form a cloud, and when it becomes denser, it returns to the Earth in cases such as rain, snow, and hail. The water used by living things can also be filtered into the soil. The water eventually reaches the seas again. And the loop is also what we actually talked about as part of the oxygen cycle and the carbon cycle. As a result of photosynthesis and photolysis, oxygen gas is released into the atmosphere. Later, oxygen is used by all living things that breathe with oxygen, and carbon dioxide is given out. Afterward, carbon dioxide is used again by photosynthesis, and oxygen is produced. Photolysis is a type of reaction in which a compound is broken down by photons. Water can also be photolyzed by the sun's rays and oxygen goes back to the atmosphere. In this way, the oxygen cycle is also completed.